Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Al, and this week we get yet another big update rolling out for the patch 10.1.5 over on the PTR. This newest build features the long-awaited Warlock demon customizations, available for testing over on the barbershop. Even more global class changes focus on us losing out on some borrowed power, which results in a vast majority of our classes gaining additional buffs this week. And it's a long list of updates for us to go over, so I want to jump straight into it as soon as possible. But right before we go over the newest happenings over on the PTR, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding all of the newest Dragonflight updates and changes going forward. Before we dive into any of the specific class changes, Warlocks finally gained the ability to customize their demonic companions over on the PTR. You first will need to get access to a couple of demonic grimoires, one for each iconic demonic summon. Afterwards, you're able to customize your demons in any of the barbershops, which are commonly located inside of any major capital cities, such as Stormwind, Orgrimmar, and Dalaran. First, we have the basic imps, which come in a variety of skins and recolors, featuring the older designs, new legion overhauls, as well as the brand new updated summons. Every one of their skins is locked behind specific requirements, from slaying certain demonic elites, achievements, time-walking events, and even class quests, as well as other activities. And every other demon skin follows a very similar requirement as the imps. Fellow hunters have a handful of options, mostly just recolors as well as the high-res updated versions, while still sporting their original puppy dog charm. Voidwalkers have a few armor variations, as well as different intensities of the Void Forged appearances. The Syad consists of the Succubus recolors, as well as the Incubus and the Shivara variations. Felguards come in two flavors, either as the original or the Wrathguard counterpart. Infernal gains new options, either as the current Felforged green or a new fiery red. And for some reason, you can even customize your Doomguard as well, though the Zeman has long been retired since the last appearance back in Warlords of Draenor. It is also worth mentioning that all of these demonic customizations are still a work in progress, and there's a good chance that even more variations will be added over time. I want to toss it into the comments down below. What demons would you love to be able to customize going forward? And what types of demonic models would you love to see Warlocks getting access to going forward? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Next, let's go over the class changes available this week for the patch 10.1.5 PTR, starting with the new global nerf to the Onyx Amulet Ring. The Onyx Amulet was added back during patch 10.07, where we got to venture forth into the Forbidden Reach, an island which housed the Drakthir, long lost in time, until they were woken up from their stasis. During Forbidden Reach update, we get to dive into the vaults found on the island in search of secrets hidden within. One of the secrets was the Onyx Amulet, a special ring which housed 3 gem sockets, compatible only with unique primal gems, which come with a variety of combat effects, including defensive benefits, offensive power, and even group-wide support effects. This ring is still used by many classes to this day in the patch 10.1 and is a staple of so many class specs. Just about every tank, certain core DPS classes, and even healers would use this ring in either raids or in Mythic Plus dungeons, as this ring still offers quite a bit of passive power even if its item level is relatively low. Patch 10.1.5 seeks to break this ring's hold over our classes, forcing us to give up this borrowed temporary power which comes with some side effects. One of the benefits includes having classes not rely on an item from Season 1 to be competitive within Season 2. Having new players dive into the old content to compete in raids and dungeons is an ideal long-term solution, and nerfing this ring helps remove it from most of our classes' gear rosters. Though these rings do come with some significant power, where most classes using them relied on the passive increases in order to even stay competitive. To help remedy this issue, most class specs are seeing damage buffs to help counteract the loss of the amulet. Now that we get the general updates out of the way, let's go over the specific class changes arriving to the most recent PTR build, starting with the class of Death Knight. Most Death Knights see a buff to their ghoulish summon, as it gains more health scaling off of the commanding Death Knight, with the Death Claw's undead healing effect becoming more effective. To counteract the nerf of the Onyx Amulet, Blood Death Knights are gaining an 8% buff to all of their abilities to help make up the difference. Vengeance Demon Hunter is also in a similar position, gaining additional power to help out the loss of the Onyx Amulet. Feral Druids are set to gain additional buffs, with the ability of Ferocious Bite improved by 5%. Dire Fixation talent has been bolstered. Slash and passive targets with Shred will increase your damage against them by 8%. Dire Fixation also takes place of Primal Claws, which has since been removed from the talent tree. Rampant Ferocity cleaves all targets left bleeding by the Feral Druid. Its cleave damage is now being added into the Feral Druid's Mastery, which helps increase its overall damaging value. Just like all the other tanks, Guardian's damage is being increased by 6% to compensate for the Amulet change. Restoration Druids in particular is also growing much more powerful, gaining 25% additional ability damage within PvP and PvE, likely to help make up the difference of the Amulet, but also encouraging more of a hybrid gameplay that isn't solely tied to their nature vigil healing playstyle. The class of Evoker sees new class talent changes, starting with Potent Mana, which is an upgrade talent for Source of Magic. Any ally you empower with Source of Magic will grow more powerful, getting 3% additional healing and damage, which helps make Source talent a bit more competitive. Regenerative Magic talent has also been adjusted to simply grant you 3% additional leech, which is a nice bolster for the healing spec of the Evoker. Talents like Draconic Legacy stamina buff as well as Blast Furnace damage increase are both being reduced down to a singular talent point, though without losing the overall power, which frees up more talent points for Evokers to pick within their talent tree. Preservation Evoker gains 10% additional ability damage to make up the missing Onyx Amulet difference. Frost Mages continue to gain additional changes this week, which help rein in some of their power while providing additional benefits to talents which still fall short to their updated expectations. First, we see Frost Mage's Mastery further adjusted to include Ebon Bolt to its damage amplification effect, which makes that talent a lot more feasible and hopefully a bit more competitive. Ray of Frost still falls short of its expected value, so its damage is being increased by 25%. Ray can also be modified with Splintering Ray, which causes Ray of Frost to cleave onto nearby targets for a portion of its damage, improving on its AoE capabilities. Finally, the devs have listened to player feedback and have adjusted how the Water Elemental works with your Icy Veins cooldown. Previously, using Icy Veins summoned a Water Elemental which would shatter your enemy's defenses every time it cast a Frost spell against your target, which resulted in a noticeable damage increase, but the debuff has to be stacked up by the Elemental over time, meaning that switching to a new target wasn't ideal. The Elemental still has to restack the damage buff every time it finds a new target, which makes it a lot less effective within combat situations. Since then, the Water Elemental attacks will simply bolster the mage's damage output with a personal buff, which increases your overall output. This way, switching targets isn't as much of an issue, which is a massive quality of life improvement for most mages everywhere, and definitely helps make Frost Mages look even more appealing as a potential option for the patch 10.1.5. Brewmaster is yet another tank that gains even more power to make up for the Onyx Amulet difference, though with a bit of a twist. First of all, a new talent has been added called Press the Advantage. This talent transforms a Tiger Palm into an auto attack, which gains all of Tiger Palm's passive bonuses. Also, your auto attacks block the target's chi, causing them to take additional damage from the monk. After stacking this buff 10 times, your next Rising Sun Kick or Keck Smash consumes all of the stacks to strike again at 100% effectiveness. When talented into Call to Arms, your auto attacks have a chance to summon Nuazawa, otherwise known as Dave, to help you assist in combat. Besides this, Brewmaster ability damage has also been increased by 7%. The damage of Rising Sun Kick and Blackout Kick has also been increased by 20%, and the damage of Tiger Palm and Dave has been increased by 50%, which helps make more talents which interact with either of these two abilities or summons more appealing. And besides the new changes coming to Brewmaster, we also have both the Mistweaver and the Windwalker, where we see the two gain more ability damage to help make up the Onyx Amulet difference. Holy Paladins are gaining even more changes this week, though a lot of these recent updates are pulling back on some of the most recent healing increases. Abilities like Holy Shock, Fading Light Absorb Shield, and Veneration are being slightly reduced. The talent of Daybreak gains a new spell animation, and finally, the Paladin's damage of base spells and abilities is also being increased to help make up the difference from the Onyx Amulet for all three of its available playstyles. Both the Holy Priest and Discipline Priest also see a 10% damage improvement, with the Discipline Priest's Atonement adjusted accordingly. The class of Rogue is a bit more complicated. Subtlety gains additional damage buffs with the removal of the amulet, but the spec of Outlaw is in a bit of a weird spot, since the spec has a unique interaction between its gear and certain talented abilities. The talent of Ghost Strike applies a debuff on the enemy target, increasing their damage taken from all of Rogue's damaging sources, though this somehow includes external items as well, such as trinkets, various weapon procs, embellished items, and even the amulet. Currently, they're looking to break this Ghost Strike interaction for the Outlaw going forward, though this will require some heavy compensation, and the changes for this spec will probably be part of the future PTR build. Enhancement Shamans have had a hard time dropping their Season 1 tier set bonus, which helped increase their haste value by a significant amount, with some even favoring the old tier set gear over the newest one added for the Season 2. To help them make the switch, Season 1 tier bonus is being reduced in value, though Enhancement sees a variety of new damaging changes. Abilities like Storm Strike, Lava Lash, and Ice Strikes see a 20% damage increase to compensate, with the Aberrus force set adjusted, making Chain Lightning less used within single target encounters. And besides Enhancement Shaman changes, we also see new buffs to Restoration, where damage and spell abilities are being increased to help make up the Onyx difference. Protection Warriors, like every other tank, also sees damage buffs as well, to help make up the loss of the Onyx in PvE. Finally, we have even more PvP specific updates coming to the class of Death Knight, with Frost and Unholy looking to improve within player versus player endgame content. Frost Death Knights are gaining a significant damage increase towards their sustained damage output within PvP, from the Frost Strike improved by 15%, Obliterate buffed by 12%, Obliterate's damage is also increased by additional 60% when not empowered by the Killing Machine proc, which makes it even more effective. Howling Blast buffed by 30%, talents like Frost Scythe and Glacial Advance Cleaves are being increased by 50%, and Remorseless Winter is being increased by 80% within PvP. The Frost will see a reduction to numerous strength, mastery, and damage increase cooldowns to help soften their reliance on major CDs to be more effective more often. Unholy Death Knight sees similar changes, where most of the major damage cooldowns are being reduced in value, with most basic abilities improved for PvP. Abilities like Scourge Strike are now 30% more effective. Death Coil has been buffed by over 100%. Virulent Plague's damage over time effect is no longer reduced by 45%. Festering Wound damage has been increased by 310%. Army of the Dead is also now usable within arenas, which makes Death Knights less reliant on Raised Abomination to access their tier set bonus. Army of the Dead and Apocalypse now summon less undead minions to help you in combat, though the power of these ghouls has been increased to compensate. I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.